It was supposed to be a normal wedding. The chandeliers glowed above, laughter echoed across the hall, and violins played softly in the background. But then silence fell. Every eye turned toward a single figure near the corner. The waiter, standing frozen, holding a silver tray. What happened next left the entire room stunned. Please take a moment to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more unforgettable stories. The night had begun like a dream. The ballroom shimmered with golden light, and the scent of roses floated in the air. Guests in glittering gowns and expensive tuxedos raised glasses filled with champagne. At the center of it all stood Alexander Graves, a millionaire known for his ruthless success and sharp tongue. He wore arrogance like a crown, striding across the marble floor with the confidence of a man who believed the world belonged to him. The waiters moved quietly among the guests, carrying trays with trembling hands, careful not to disturb perfection of the night. Among them was Daniel, a young man with worn shoes and tired eyes. His uniform was pressed, his bow tie slightly crooked, but his posture spoke of discipline. Though invisible to most, Daniel carried himself with quiet dignity. As Alexander laughed loudly with a circle of admirers, his voice cut through the music. Then his gaze fell on Daniel. His smirk widened. The room seemed to hold its breath. "Hey, you," he barked, pointing toward the waiter. "Before you serve me, clean my shoes first. They've gathered more dirt than your entire paycheck could afford." Gasps rippled across the hall. Some laughed nervously. Others shifted uncomfortably, but no one dared to intervene. Daniel froze, his tray trembling slightly. His face burned with humiliation, but his eyes remained steady. He bent down silently, not because he accepted the insult, but because in his world, survival meant swallowing pride. The millionaire chuckled, proud of his cruel display. He leaned back in his chair, watching Daniel polish the leather of his imported shoes. To him, it was a small amusement, a reminder of his superiority. But what Alexander didn't know was that the waiter he mocked carried a past heavier than wealth, deeper than arrogance. Daniel had once stood where Alexander now sat, surrounded by family, respect, and a promising future. That life was stolen from him by a cruel twist of fate. A fire, a betrayal, and the collapse of his father's business had left him with nothing but debts and memories. Forced to abandon his education, he worked wherever he could, hiding the scars of his past behind the mask of a quiet servant. As the night carried on, Alexander's arrogance only grew. He flaunted his riches, telling stories of deals where he crushed competitors and mocked the less fortunate. His laughter echoed off the marble walls, each word dripping with disdain. Yet the more he boasted, the more eyes turned toward him, not with admiration, but with quiet judgment. Then the turning point came. The bride's father, an elderly gentleman with kind eyes, noticed the scene. He whispered something to the master of ceremonies. A few minutes later, the host called for everyone's attention. The hall grew silent once again. "Tonight," the host began, "we celebrate love, but also the values that truly define us: respect, humility, and kindness. And to remind us of that, we'd like to introduce someone very special." The spotlight shifted, not on the bride, not on the groom, but on Daniel, the waiter still holding his tray. Confusion spread across the room. Whispers began. Alexander frowned, his smirk faltering. The host continued, "What many of you don't know is that Daniel is not just a waiter. He is the son of Michael Everett, a man who once built one of the largest scholarship foundations in this country. Thousands of students studied because of his generosity. Daniel himself was a brilliant scholar before tragedy struck his family." Gasps filled the hall. Eyes widened as Daniel lowered. His tray caught in the glow of the lights. His story, once buried in silence, was now revealed before the very people who had looked past him. The bride's father stepped forward, tears glistening in his eyes. "Your father helped me once, Daniel. He paid for my education when no one else would. Without him, I wouldn't stand here today. Tonight, I want everyone to know the worth of a man is never in his clothes, his shoes, or his paycheck. It is in the life he leads and the kindness he carries." The hall erupted in applause. Guests stood, clapping with genuine admiration, some with tears streaming down their cheeks. Daniel stood still, overwhelmed, his quiet dignity now shining brighter than the chandeliers above. And then came the climax. The applause thundered, but in the midst of it, Alexander sat frozen, his face turned pale, his smirk gone. The same man he had mocked now stood as a symbol of respect and honor. Every eye turned, not to celebrate Alexander, but to witness his shame. He shifted uncomfortably, realizing his cruelty had only revealed his own emptiness. The bride's father placed a hand on Daniel's shoulder. From this day forward, you are not to bow your head to anyone. Your father's legacy lives in you, and tonight we honor that. Tears welled in Daniel's eyes as he finally allowed himself to breathe, no longer invisible, no longer humiliated. The weight he carried for years was lifted in a single moment of truth. As the night drew to a close, Alexander left quietly, his arrogance shattered. No one cared for his stories anymore. The only tale that remained was Daniel's, the waiter who had been mocked, but whose true worth silenced an entire hall. In that golden ballroom, a powerful lesson unfolded. It wasn't wealth or pride that won the night. It was humility, respect, and the undeniable truth of who a person really is. Never underestimate someone's true worth.